It's going to be Sunday night, January the 21st, around the corner here at the House of Blues. LiveNation.com. It's got all the details. Caller 10, these tickets are yours. 2 for The Devil Wears Prada and Friends. 216-578-1007 to win, or 800-348-1007.
Are you trying to make us all uncomfortable?
Alan Cox.
It's gross, it's weird, it's not right, it's not cool.
And there's plenty more where that came from. Back to the Alan Cox Show on 100.7 WMMS.
Comedian Jeff Dye is going to be in here a little bit later on. He's doing the weekend at Hilarities with young Bill Squire. Go to hilarities.com for details on those tickets. Cavs off tonight, but a big win last night over the Washington Wizards. Beat them by 39 points. They will play them again tomorrow night at the Romo Fijo, about a half an hour later. 7:30 is the tip-off tomorrow night. So 7 o'clock is when your pregame coverage will begin here on WMMS and on the iHeartRadio app. I will also have another trip for you for our 2024 Alter Ego Festival. Big news just coming down the pipe that Paramore has pulled out. They are unable to perform, but they are replacing them with Fall Out Boy.
I love Fall Out Boy.
I know you do.
I'm going to see them in March.
The ye old unforeseen circumstances.
Where are you seeing them in March?
Columbus.
You know, I bet they'll probably play New York City.
Yes, but I bought these tickets like 6 months ago.
Ah, all right.
After I saw them the first time.
Did you get the VIP package?
I did not.
You're gonna
I did
miss
not
out.
get
This
the
is
VIP
going
package.
to be the time it's going to be good.
I'll
And
be
you're
so
gonna miss
mad.
out. They're going to like do a meet
upped
and
it from a
greet.
Magic 8 Ball and a lanyard.
Yeah.
They didn't even give a T-shirt or anything. But a girlfriend
This
of
year
mine.
it'll be an actual 8-ball and a lanyard.
Ooh.
Hey, that might be worth $400.
Mm-hmm.
A girlfriend of mine who Fall Out Boy is also her favorite band. She saw them on the lawn in Cleveland, and we were talking after the show about how great the show was. She's like, man, I wish I would have bought better seats. I was like, no joke. If they come back to like Columbus or Pittsburgh or something, I'll go see them again with you. So after they announced the 2024 dates, we bought.
Oh, she was on the lawn. They
She was
weren't
on the
lawn.
No. She was on the lawn, and
Right.
she's like, I'd love to see them again closer. And so her and I got tickets when they announced their 2024 date.
Well, 5 o'clock, I'll have the next trip for you today and tomorrow. Last couple of trips for you to get to L.A. with a pal for our Alter Ego Festival. Fall Out Boy now in the pole position there, replacing Paramore, but the 1975 and the Black Keys and Bush, the rest of that lineup, as of now, remains intact. Hey, Anna.
Hey, Alan.
What's up?
Please excuse my voice. I'm homesick with COVID, so it's kind of going in and out.
Yikes.
We wouldn't have known.
You got that new variant?
Pardon?
You got that brand new variant?
Probably. I did 2 home tests. They both came back positive, so I got on the phone the next day and got my Paxlovid, and now I'm just taking my meds and trying to get better so I can get back to work.
I'll feel better, yeah.
Okay, but I'm listening like I do anytime I'm at home, and there's so much misinformation flying about the immigration situation, and one thing I just had to comment on was I keep hearing undocumented. I know I heard Cody say it multiple times. I know I heard Mary say it a couple times. You and Bill, I don't know because I was switching between.
I did too, because I don't know. I don't know chapter and verse of the whole thing. My question was simply why it isn't human trafficking.
I call them those people.
Yeah. Okay, well, but I think this is one reason that the whole border crisis is so overblown, if you will, or so misunderstood. The people who are being put on buses and even now planes, because they're stopping the buses. So Greg Abbott and DeSantis and people like that, they can't grandstand with the buses. So now they're actually getting planes to put people on and send them to New York and Chicago and places like that. But those people are not undocumented immigrants. An undocumented immigrant is someone who crosses the border illegally. Maybe they swim across or they pay a coyote to smuggle them in on a truck or whatever. Undocumented means they entered the country illegally without getting caught. If they cross the border illegally and get caught, they are arrested and sent back. The people who are crossing the border legally, the ones who are presenting themselves at a designated border crossing and applying for asylum, which is dictated by the laws of the United States of America, are documented. We know who they are, we know where they came from, and if they have a sponsor in this country, they are sent to live in that city. If they don't have a sponsor, they're sent to a shelter on the border, or they're looking for a place to stay, and that's when they get rounded up and shipped off to Martha's Vineyard or wherever. But we know
Martha's
who
Vineyard.
these people are. They are documented. They are not undocumented.
So
these are
They not
refugees.
illegal.
So they're just people that the Texas or Florida or whatever goes, we don't want you here. You're going to go on a plane now.
Right. Well, anyone who applies for asylum is a legal immigrant. They just haven't been granted asylum yet. It may take them years because our system
Yeah, because
is
the
so
backlog
messed
is
up.
like 5 years behind it.
Because of the backlog,
Yeah.
absolutely. But they are absolutely given the right to do that, and they can't stay in this country and get shipped off to Martha's Vineyard or New York or whatever unless they are already documented. They are in the system.
Yeah.
Okay, clarifying question.
There are illegal migrants working in this country that were smuggled in or who crossed the border illegally, and they are the ones that are being hired under the table by rich people to work in their homes or in their factories or whatever. They are technically illegal because they are undocumented.
I also don't understand why the people with the big deportation boners aren't crowing about Joe Biden, because he doubled the number of people last year that he sent back.
Yeah, well, because they don't want to talk about that.
I guess. But that's part of it.
One of the GOP congressmen I heard this morning, I actually heard it wasn't a quote, he was taped saying it when they did their big show yesterday, the 60 GOPers who went down to the border to bitch about the problem. They even accused the Biden administration of moving all the migrants since the numbers are down this week. They didn't have thousands of people to show off, so they said that they accused the Biden administration of moving them out of the way so they wouldn't show up on camera. But one of them specifically said, and this is absolutely true because I've been saying it for months and I've been hearing it on TV for weeks, the GOP does not want to solve the border problem because it will make Biden look good. And he flat out said it on the news this morning.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's a lot of things the GOP doesn't want.
I mean, the big picture, though, the big picture is they really do need to figure out a lot of things down there. And some of them are legal and some of them are humanitarian and,
Right, but the executive branch can't do it. Only Congress can do it. It has to be a statute. It has to be passed by Congress. And Congress is holding up money for Ukraine, money for Israel, money for Taiwan. What else is there? And money for the border, of all things, right now, saying we aren't going to approve any of this unless you give us all these changes at the border, which is fine, except that on the other hand, some of the members are saying, hell no, I'm not voting for that, because if we vote on that and we fix the problem, that's a win for Biden. And we can't give Biden a win.
Yeah.
So just so people understand, the problem at the border has been a problem for decades. And every time that any president has tried to get Congress to do anything about it, Democrat, Republican, George W. Bush tried desperately to get it fixed.
Yep.
No, none of them can get it through Congress because the Republicans.
Because then you can't beat the other side
anything.
over the head with it either.
That's right. You cannot use it as a weapon against the other side. But it's really important that people stop saying undocumented, because all of these people are documented. The undocumented ones are the ones who are getting caught and sent back, or the ones who snuck in 2 years ago and are working at the meat packing plant.
Right.
That's an undocumented immigrant.
Clarifying question, which you've been very helpful, definitely. So when my brother texts me, and he says, the mayor went live talking about the steady flow of undocumented migrants flooding the state. Those are the ones you're talking about who are actually documented, that are being put on buses.
The ones that are being put on buses and stuff, they are not undocumented.
Okay.
So the mayors are speaking. And seriously, Mary, I hear anchors on network news programs standing at the border or wherever and referring to these people who just crossed the border and signed in and turned in their paperwork and got a a hearing date 2 years from now for their asylum hearing, referring to them as undocumented immigrants. So they're all incorrect. That's the reason people don't understand, because everyone is using the wrong language. They are documented. They are not citizens. They don't have a green card, but they are most definitely documented.
Okay.
The undocumented ones are the ones who got in here without getting caught and did not stop at the border and apply.
Which, if you ask me,
legally
is cooler. Like
you've really gotten through a lot of it. You've beaten the odds.
Yeah. Like going in and be like, oh, asylum is one thing, but like if you sneak into a country, like that is something.
And you get a job.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It's not easy to. Well, it's very easy to get a job if you've snuck in because it'll completely undercut the market. But I mean, it's okay. Thank you, Anna. I appreciate it. Feel better. Okay.
Thanks a lot, guys.
All right. Thank you. There's Anna. All right, well, good. That's a lot of clarity there.
Doesn't sound sick.
Yeah,
it's me. I mean, there's a lot of energy for sick day, Anna. You may.
Do you want to? Do you want a palate cleanser? Because I've had Jenna calling in recently.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It's time for Sweet Nothings with Jenna from Poland.
I've always had reason to believe that technology is for queers.
This has been Sweet Nothings with Jenna from Poland.
You know, Jenna could do a stand-up special that rivals Chappelle's new special.
What did she say? I have good.
Play it again.
I've always had reason to believe that technology is for queers.
Reason to believe. What is her reason to believe?
Oh, look at that. Using a phone? Queer.
Oh, I've always had reason to believe. Wow. All right.
Oh, you're using GPS? Queer.
Well, yeah. Hello, who's this? Somebody still on hold? Hello, who's this?
That's Sammy. I don't know what his name is.
Yeah, this is Ron from North Olmsted.
What's up, Ron?
Well, we hate the show.
Thank you.
And my wife is a Slippery Rock alumnus.
Oh, boy. Yeah, there you go. All right. Yeah.
I happen to have a joke about a pig and a house fire. Mm-hmm. So when you were talking about a pig and a house fire and Slippery Rock, it was like, you know, the stars just aligned, and I figured I had to call and tell you.
Yeah. Okay.
So you ready? You ready for this one?
I'm as ready as I'm gonna be, Ron.
Well, this guy's driving down the road one day, and he's out in the middle of nowhere, and not getting a cell signal. His car starts acting up. So he pulls over to the side of the road, and he walks up. There's a farmhouse. Goes up to the farmhouse, knocks on the door. Farmer answers, says, "Yeah, sure, come on in. You can use the phone here." So the guy goes in, and they're sitting there talking, having a nice tea in the living room. And this pig walks into the room. And the guy whose car was giving him trouble looks at the pig. He says, "Oh, hey, man, what's with the pig?" Farmer says, "Well, that there pig saved my life. That's a hell of a pig." The guy says, "Well, what happened?" And he says, "Oh, the other night the house caught on fire, and that pig came in and rescued me. He woke me up, made sure I got out of the house okay." And the pig he's all beat up looking. He's got like 3 legs. He's got, you know, an ear missing. He's all carved up on the sides. Guy goes, "Yeah, well, why does he look like that? What happened to him?" Farmer says, "When you got a pig that good, you don't eat them all at once."
Yeah.
Right. I love the 3-legged pig joke. All right, thank you, Ron. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And give your wife our best as a Slippery Rock University alumnus up there in Pennsylvania, where that family's house burned down because they put their pet pig under the house with extra hay to keep it warm and a heat lamp, and it proceeded to burn down the house. In the immortal words of one David Byrne. You know, here we are. I hope everybody saw this article, because it was in the Washington Post or the Wall Street Journal or one of those. A very, very hoity-toity publication. Yeah, the Washington Post is where it showed up. Here we are broadcasting live from downtown Cleveland. And the article was, America's best example of turning around a dying downtown is Cleveland, Ohio. So the Washington Post's article on how Cleveland, Ohio is proving to be the model for how cities who are awash in what they call a doom loop. You know, post-COVID, they're having a hard time. A lot of dying downtowns, but that Cleveland is doing it right. Now, it mostly is leaning on getting people to live downtown, and I think that's a bubble that, I mean, I can't believe it hasn't already burst. But yeah, Sexy Showers right next door to us here.
Mm-hmm.
Brand new building that still not up. Well, up, but
it's
not,
up.
Not,
it just
not finished.
I think it
takes a while.
Huge building.
Takes a while.
Yeah,
and they've been
that's a lot of sexy showers
constructing it the entire time we've been downtown here. But boy, you know, for all of the and we go through them every time there's some list, whether it's tongue in cheek or not. Every time there's some list.
Okay,
about Cleveland. But here you go. The Washington Post goes, Cleveland, Ohio. They are the best example in the United States of a city that's turning around their downtown because of construction and people residing there.
I think having radio studios downtown really helps.
Of course, yes.
You see those guys over, especially once they got us out of the window and put TAM over there. Now they're like, oh, who's this hunk, Carmen Angelo?
That's right. Say what?
I was just going to ask if there are is there an influx of people moving downtown? Is that real?
Every time they put up one of these new condo buildings, they fill them up. Well, they fill them up.
Yes, yeah.
Well, I think it's a little bit of smoke and mirrors, though, too.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's not like it was 10 years ago, sure.
I mean,
but every time one of these articles comes out, it makes it seem like there's thousands and thousands of people moving downtown every day.
There are. There's more.
There's a lot.
There are a lot more people moving downtown.
I mean,
now a lot of them don't stay downtown, so the occupancy is where kind of
there's a lot of turnover.
Smoke and mirrors comes in.
But if you go to that Heinen's right over here, it's always busy.
Yeah, that's true.
If you go to,
but that's from people who work downtown.
But not
if you go there at 9 o'clock at night, is it busy? It's probably closed at 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah, but like if I've been there at like 7 o'clock and it's still pretty busy.
Yeah,
because there are a lot of people that live on Euclid specifically, like over there. I mean, just knowing the people that I know that have moved downtown over the past few years, I used to know nobody, and now I know at least a dozen people that live downtown.
Right.
So, I mean, that's anecdotal, but it seems like there are more and more people moving downtown. And then also you have a lot more student housing that is downtown versus over near like Case or something like that. There's a lot more
from CSU,
medical,
you mean?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the guys that live in this building.
Oh, yeah, they're all med students.
They're all med students, yeah. So you get a lot of that, too.
But I guess that is still them moving downtown, even if it's not like permanently.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess you're not really permanently moving into an apartment either.
Well, but I mean, any population center downtown, you know, if they're going through these metrics of what these cities are doing and who's doing it right and who's doing it wrong and who can't seem to get it back off the ground, because some cities are having a real hard time getting back to pre-pandemic in their downtowns. Like St. Louis is having a terrible, terrible time. St. Louis has its own share of
They should build
problems.
another arch.
Yeah, they should.
Right next to the other one.
Second
and then paint them
McDonald's.
gold. And they'll be like, oh my God, there's a huge McDonald's here.
A residential arch. Just have people live inside it.
You ever
and
been
then
in that arch?
A zip line. What's that?
You ever been in the arch?
I've never been in the arch.
It's fun. I went there with the kids when they were little, and my son was a little like, because they put you in this weird little elevator, and he was a little nervous about it because you're not going straight up. You're going in the arch.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so he just thought it was weird, and I could see how nervous he was. So as soon as they closed the door, I just go, ah!
Oh,
and then
Bill likes everybody to have a good time when he's.
But then he started cracking up, and he like calmed down. So just doing a little dad humor to calm down the kids.
Oh boy.
And I really screamed too.
I bet.
Yeah, no, I used to be on in St. Louis, and I never. I had a situation where I was supposed to do a thing there, and I was planning on going up in the arch. I never got around to it.
I haven't spent a lot of time downtown St. Louis, but my shows there, that's like one of the cities other than Cleveland that I can draw pretty well. St. Louis.
We have a lot of listeners there.
They like show up.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's across the board, but I have people like specifically showing up to see me in St. Louis. Maybe
well,
that's
yeah,
why.
we have a lot of people there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But St. Louis is a city that has a lot of problems, but Cleveland does too. Maybe you've heard about them. But
Name one.
Boy, one doesn't really come to mind. All of the dirt bike hooligans that are constantly wilding their way down the downtown streets. No, they really broke it down. This article in Washington Post, they were like, they're putting up, a good mark of the health of a downtown. For a lot of these cities, the trouble is with people not coming back into the office, these companies are on the hook for like these rent payments for these places nobody works anymore, right? But they're like Cleveland, it's a big vote of confidence when Sherwin-Williams goes, we're going to build a massive new skyline-changing headquarters. Poundcake loves the skyline. He wants to see more skyline.
I think that's I think that's like the pulse of the city. You want to have pride in your town. When people drive through, if they're not visiting and they're just driving through, you're like, damn, look at Cleveland. We'll have to come back here. Look at their skyline. It's so majestic.
We'll have to come back here. Look at that skyline.
But I'm just saying, it looks like it's the hustle and bustle. Like it looks, if you have a new skyscrapers going up, clearly people are in them. They didn't just build a multi-million-dollar building for it to be empty.
I didn't even realize that there were residences in Terminal Tower. I didn't
That's
know that.
newer,
I didn't
though.
know that people lived in there.
They only started doing that, I think, within the past 10 years.
I had a guy on Grindr hit me up, and he lived in Terminal Tower, and I was trying to hook up with
I'd be
him so
afraid
bad.
to.
I just wanted to see what his apartment was like. I didn't.
Well, because it's called.
Yeah, no, he wasn't on the verge of death.
But you
Hospice by Terminal Tower.
You went up and wanted to see?
Yeah, he was like okay looking, but I'm like, I really want to see his apartment. Like, I just want to. Can you give me a tour?
Yeah, but then you get there and you're stuck with an okay-looking guy.
But I would smash. I just want to see his
Oh,
apartment.
I see.
I wasn't into him. It wasn't you. It was your apartment.
Right.
You just want to look down.
Poundcake hates gay dudes with no car, but he loves guys that have air conditioning. He'll hang out longer for that.
Yeah, he likes
He'll
amenities.
hang out with
He
an
likes
okay-looking
amenities,
guy
yeah.
if they have a nice apartment.
views.
He does. He loves the amenities.
Well,
He puts the men in amenities.
I think about the guys that I've had sex with that had mattresses on the floor. It's a come up if I go to his apartment.
If you're just a couple of feet higher, that's a much better situation.
Mm-hmm.
Not a couple of feet higher. We moving on up. He didn't get the top of Terminal Tower.
Wow. Alan, my wife's boob popped out when we were riding up in the arch.
That's sweet.
Hell yeah.
Do you go upside down? I mean, you go.
No,
well,
that's must
boob popped out.
She must have been ready to pop out. Like that's I like it.
All right. Well, then his pants arched. I've got to take a break. If you want to send a text, 35192, AlanCoxShow.com for everything else. And you can listen wherever you are on the